listening to The Still Small Voice. I'm Jennifer, your host, the Still Small Voice Whisperer. Thank you for joining me today. I am hoping this podcast gets you thinking, intuiting, listening, and maybe even acting on your still small voice. I'm a little different. I feel I should tell you this up front. I spend a lot of time in silence and solitude because I cannot be myself without it. I do what I do without necessarily checking in with others and the world around me. This makes me a seemingly socially awkward and antisocial person. However, I just don't abide by doing things because everyone else is doing it or because that's what you're supposed to do. So with that in mind, I want to let you know that these podcast episodes are going to be a bit different. You don't need to listen to me talk. You don't need more information from a guest interview, or any more information at all, actually, from anyone. Except for you. You need your information, and you need to hear from you. So this is what we're going to do. You are the guest this season. I'm going to interview you. In each episode, I'm going to ask you questions, and I'll give you about 3 minutes for the answers. I invite you to speak out the answers just like you're the guest. Or maybe you need to answer them in your mind instead of out loud if you're listening to this at work or in a public place, or not. You do you. Here's your opportunity to listen to the most intelligent, loving, and authoritative person in your own life. Others know things and can teach you, but at the end of the day, it really is all about you. It's about what you think and believe that really, really matters. We can spend too much time listening to others and not to ourselves. All right, let's get started. Welcome to Listening to the Still Small Voice. I'm so excited to be interviewing you. Thank you for being on the podcast today. You have decades of experience in work, education, relationships, and overall life experience. I am so excited to hear from you today and about how you are in the world. We talked at the end of last week's episode about differentiating between your still small voice and the voices of society and parents and peers and friends and culture, etc., etc. I'd like to touch on that again today and wonder if you have anything else to say about it. How do you tell the difference between your still small voice and all of those other voices? It's so interesting. I know people who use like that rubber band technique or who say stop to the other voices in their head. And then there are those who integrate the voices and like take what they need and leave the rest. And they've got some like system that they go through it with, and just all sorts of other techniques. It really helps to hear what others do and how they discern it. We have so much noise and information in our world. We really need to be careful about what we listen to. I want to move on to maybe some funner questions, if that's a real world. I'm making it up. I think it should be. Kind of lightning round style, asking you to answer from your still small voice. So if we take a moment just to take a few deep breaths to kind of like get ready for the lightning round and get focused. So I'm just going to sit here and we're just going to take a few moments and take some deep breaths in through our nose and out through our mouth or out through our nose, maybe sighing it out. All right, so we know that our still small voice, your still small voice, wants your best good, wants you to be you, full out, shining, amazing you. So if your still small voice held the reins in your life like it was your life magic wand, what would you use it on first or what would you do with your life first? There's so much, right? I mean, we could keep listing things for hours, and you've gotten me thinking of some things I want to put on my list, but we won't do that though. I would say after this initial reaction, now that you've gotten that out, what would kind of your next steps with that magic wand be? You know, everything always leads to everything else. It's all encompassing, right? I mean, so you've may touched on this in those previous two questions, but I kind of want to pull it out specifically for the next question. I feel like we did like the brainstorm, and now we're kind of doing the synthesizing of it all. So I want to talk about fun, like what you would do or create or where would you go just for fun, just for you, not for anyone else, not unless they, of course, agree to it wholeheartedly. We're talking about not worrying about family or friends or what anybody would think. What would you do with that magic wand for fun? Isn't it interesting how like the thought of fun gets you into a totally different state? Is there more that your still small voice is telling you about this? Thank you so much for taking the time today to come on the show and sharing more about your experiences. I know our audience finds them invaluable. I'd like to have you back on the show to learn more if you'd be willing. I know our listener needs to hear from you more than ever. I'm looking forward to hearing more from you next week. So what did you think? Weird? Fun? A little bit of both? There's more where that came from. Come back next week and we will learn more. Thanks for joining me today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. If you enjoyed this episode, I'm so glad. If you didn't, that's great too. Thanks for giving it a try. You can do all the things: subscribe, rate, review, emoji it up if you feel so called. I appreciate any feedback you have. Please reach out to me on Facebook at The Still Small Voice Whisperer.